Hello, everybody. So I've played Ogre Battle 64 for a very long time. I actually have a walkthrough up on YouTube for the vanilla game, and this one is a hack for Ogre Battle 64. It's called Hammer to Fall, and it changes virtually, well, I don't want to say virtually everything. It changes all of the classes, male and female, beast, dragon, all that stuff. It has a lot of changes to equipment, to armor, and just to give you an example, Titus, well, I'm going to name him Titus, but in the game his name is Magnus, but Titus, in the original Ogre Battle, many people didn't play with him until the 4th chapter, because that's where he gets his final class and where he gets his maximum stat upgrades. In this game, he, Dio, and Leia get their max stat upgrades right from the start. And as their class upgrades, they get more attacks, or upgraded attacks, or upgraded armor and weapons. And that is much more fun for me because that way I can feel like I can use them and they're not being nerfed later on by having poor stat progression. Another example, the Fencer. The Fencer is very weak. They use old clothing. They have no armor, no defense, and almost everything can kill them in 2 hits. Maybe 3. A Dollmaster, a Berserker, Knight, whatever it is, they're very weak. But they get insane stat progression as far as strength and dexterity. We're talking, like, the most stat progression was a Black Knight in the original game. They got 6 strength. A Fencer gets 6 to 7 strength per level. And then the Swordmaster gets like 8 to 10. It's insane. So they're very weak to start. Very dangerous to use. But the earlier that you level them up, the better. Knights use magic in the middle as far as healing, and they use magic in the back. They're not the best attackers, they're not the best defenders, they're not the best healers, they're not the best magic users, but they're a great all-around unit. Phalanxes. Phalanxes are one of the few units that actually have good defense for humanoids. So a knight, instead of... one of the stats that have been changed is that humanoids, which is single characters like this, take 35%... They have a 35% damage reduction to strike, naturally. In the original game, it was 50, so they were much more beefy. Phalanxes are the only humanoid unit that still do 50% damage reduction to physical attacks. So they're actually a tanky unit. That stat still applies to beasts, which are much better. Golems have been revamped, so the early golems actually really suck, depending on what you are looking for. Dogs are excellent. These are one of my favorite units. Berserkers attack 2 across the way instead of just 2 in the front. Fencers attack 3 times in the front, but once in the middle. So it's just like they're very weak in the front, but do a lot more damage. You put them in the middle, they only do 1 attack. So a lot of little changes like that, which we don't have to go all the way through right now. But yeah, Dollmaster. Now they do magic attacks in the back, and they do physical attacks in the front. It's like they're a wizard that controls, they're a wizard that controls golems and buffs them. It's very fun. Very fun things. One big difference with this game, too, clerics no longer heal in the back, and neither do priests. So that was a huge, huge advantage for people playing the game. If you put a cleric in the back, or a priest, and then like 3 paladins in the front, 3 fencers, or whatever it is, your unit was almost indestructible. Almost. Yeah, 3 paladins with a Diana and a priest. Perfect standard unit. Healer, archer, and 3 knights up front. Perfect unit. You can't do that anymore. Clerics are much less useful. They do heal, but they have to heal in the front. In the middle, they use a physical attack called Smash. In the back, they use an attack called, what is it? It's like a holy attack. It's not banished, like magic missile, something like that. But anyway, before I start the game, one thing that we want to consider too is if you're starting for the first time, I would advise you going for this unit, the Magic Lady. And the reason for that is, I'll explain. I always go for the Knight, and I'll do that again too, because I have a particular plan I want to do this time, but I was very tempted to go for the Magic Lady because Magnus gets these stats added to his base character. So health, strength, vitality, that's great for him. He's going to be a frontline fighter for me. That's just where he is best. But I have considered using him as a mage in the back before, just like, doing his little magic attack with his sword element. And I've considered this, but what I didn't realize is that the luck doesn't just apply to Magnus. It applies to everybody in your starting army. So I opened the game, and I go to edit units, and I look at Dyson. He has 55 luck. Go to Pai Long. He has 55 luck. Go to Sephora. She has 55 luck. And I went through all these people, and let me just check this guy. He doesn't. These are the guys that came with Dio, so they're not technically your starting army. But Berserker, Gordon, 55. So does the Hellhound have it? He does. A lot of the people, not Dio's unit, but a lot of the people that you start with, especially the people in your initial unit, have 55 luck. Luck is exceptionally good. I would almost choose this thing just for the luck, ignoring all the other stats. This is more than double the 2 that you get with the Knight. And 5 luck is great. You block more, you critical attack more, you dodge better. I think that if you have a chance of getting 4 strength, 5 strength, or 6 strength on a level up, the luck helps you get more strength during your level ups. It also helps with neutral encounters. It helps with so many things, and it is very valuable. So I think if somebody's this isn't going to really change the game that much in the long term. This will. This will change because this lasts forever, and it affects a lot of units. So if you're starting out the game for the first time and you want to have an easier time, use this army calculator to make your army. You pick the magic one, and then you calculate your answers. And anyway, that's what I would advise. So anyway, without further ado, without going into all the changes as far as items and all of the weird things that have been added to and changed in the game, I'm going to get the warrior unit with the knight because I want knights to start. I want to have a unit that's basically like an Arthurian group. I want to have the fencer because it's important for me that I have that equipment to start. We eventually get Troy, so I don't really need a phalanx early, and it takes a while to promote them because I need high stats, so that's fine. I want the Berserker, so we're basically building our front line. The back line in this game is much weaker. Clerics don't work very well. Wizards are a little bit more complicated. Same thing with the sorceresses. So I want to have a very flushed out front line and build up a lot of fighters early. I also want to have a Beast Tamer unit. I don't really need this guy because I'm going to edit in Gilbert later, but I'm not going to use him until we get to the 3rd mission, or after the 3rd mission where we can get our second puppy, because I don't want to edit him in. I'd like to just add him and find him naturally. So that's my plan. Sorry for the lip smacking. That's just part of who I am. But yeah, if I could, I may not really need this guy, honestly, because I won't. Let me just check something. Magic. almost want to go this route because I can always keep this guy's equipment and then just change him into a beast tamer and then have the puppy, and then I'll have that equipment. Because you get this equipment very early, you get this equipment very early, you don't get this one very early, but you can find it regardless. So yeah, let's go this route right here. So, and also I can find a golem really early if I want, but I don't want one. So let's do, there we go. Those are our starting answers. So a lot of fun stuff to look at. I did do a walkthrough basically to the middle of chapter 2, but I wasn't happy with the way I built my army, and so because I have probably some kind of OCD problem, I feel the need to restart and waste more of my time. I was calling Magnus Gilliman for a while, but that's Rabute Gilliman's last name, so that didn't make a lot of sense. So we're just going to call him Titus because we like Titus. I just got to change his dad's name to Calgar, and it'll be perfect. So what am I doing? I think it's, what is it? Belief, silence, and might. Belief, silence, and might. Belief, silence, and might, and then what do I offer the gods? I think I offer them truth or love. Truth, reform, and changes. Now this is a little bit odd. I wish for reform, but I want to rid the land of changes. Yeah, it's a little odd, isn't it? I tend to go for Earth. I don't know exactly why. It's just all of these are really good as far as from a military standpoint. You know, like Achilles was probably Raging Flame. Alexander the Conqueror was probably Wind. I don't know, it's just each of these is a good philosophy, but Earth is just, I think a commander needs to be grounded and calm and patient, and especially when Dio is railing at you and getting all cranky, you need to be calm. So Serene Water or Solid Earth are both great choices, but I like the idea of, I usually pick Earth. It's either Earth or the Flame. But, yeah, I like the Earth. So one of the problems with the... Oh, and here's the other thing, too. So if you pick the Knight unit, you get a Blessed Sword. If you pick the... What's the name? The Sorceress unit, you get an Arc Wand. So each kind of thing that you pick, you get an upgraded weapon to use. I believe if you pick the Beast Tamer in the front one, you get Rupture Rose. So you get like an upgraded weapon to use. And Blessed Sword is very, very valuable because there's a mission or two where you really need a holy weapon to help you get through it. And we can talk about that when the time comes. But yeah, so we got all the good stuff. Not that we even need the Jingasa, because... But yeah, the Balder armor, very, very strong early on. Do we want to watch this part? I suppose we could. It's kind of fun. always liked this beginning of Titus going with a few of his fighter and Amazon friends to the southern reaches. It's just a nice cinematic. Alright, let's get it started. Prologue, blah blah blah. Alright. So one of the things I like to do when I play this is, I've seen a few people play through this before, and everyone's free to play their own way, but I played through this enough where I don't really need to immerse myself in the story. I've beaten it a few different ways, and it's all fine. I like to role play and play in the maps and the missions like I'm following through the story. So Dio is very cranky. He has the potential of leaving the military and kind of turning against you down the road. And part of my philosophy of keeping him with you and keeping him on the good path is, of course, you can't fight him. And you work with him to train up a bunch of soldiers early on, like you're both leaders, and he has the same, in a sense, responsibilities and rank as you, and fulfills the same duties, and it makes him feel like he respects you, because you don't put yourself above him. And especially in that mission where he saves you from raid and everyone and gets surrounded, he's in a sense sacrificing himself to protect you and choosing to follow you. So I like to turn him into a lawful knight kind of person. As an example. I also like the idea of using Titus and Dio early on to get a bunch of fighters, because if I do that for most of the missions, then it kind of justifies, in a sense, cheating other people in. I never get Karth, I never get Bisk, and I never get Paul, because I don't go down that route. But I do like to have them in the game. Just to give you an example, Aznabel has the class of a Black Knight in this game. That's one of the ways that this mod or hack, whatever you want to call it, has changed things. Aznabel is a Black Knight. His sprite is that of his original Berserker. Troy is the same thing. He's a Cataphract, but his sprite is the whole yellow phalanx thing. Troy has 3 attacks in the front. Aznabel has 3 attacks in the front. Troy gets the Earth Javelin relatively quickly, which is a very powerful weapon to start with. Aznabel gets the Flame Flail. So these are 2 characters that have 3 attacks in the front, do a lot of damage, and are very tanky. Aznabel has a couple of changes to him, one of which is he wears Balder armor now, which is a very strong armor and better than it was in the original game. And that's his default equipment. He also has the Fang of Fire Drake, which raises his health and his strength by 1 every time he gets a level up. And he, of course, gets the Helmet of Fearless very early, which is a great helm for him. So he is a very strong character early on. If I have Bisk in the game and Karth, they are not as strong as Aznabel. They're not as tanky as Troy. They don't have, Karth has a weapon to start with, but, Bisk starts out with a Balder sword. He's not nearly as strong as the other characters. He would lose in a fight to Troy, I think. So the idea of me having them in the game to start doesn't feel like it's breaking anything. But in my last playthrough, Bisk got really, really powerful because he also had 2 Nerdamise warriors with him, and they had Tulenos, which paralyzed people that they fought, so their squad was very strong. And I always told myself if I restarted this game, I would either do one of 2 things. I would have Bisk start out with the Nerdamise warriors, but have them be use Iron Claws instead of the Tulenos. And or I would wait until the Sable Lowlands to use Bisk. And Karth was a very disappointing character, because even though he starts off and he's very fun and strong, he's good, but I had trouble figuring out what kind of unit to use with him. In the original game, Karth basically has 2 Cataphracts and 2 Freyas with him, so I'm considering doing that kind of situation with him. In the last game, I basically had a Platinum Dragon with him, which was a good unit, but Karth lacked healing, his unit lacked a lot of damage, and I definitely want to... I do like the idea of role-playing with him and having the White Dragon, but I don't know, it's... he would benefit from having more of a heavy armored unit. Dragons are good in this game, but they are not good at the start. They take a lot of damage, and while they do a decent amount of damage, they really aren't that great until they get leveled up to their 2nd form, and then they're decent, and then when they get to their final form, they're actually very, very good, which is fine. But yeah. So Karth's unit was a little disappointing. I'm considering, and the problem with Karth's unit 2 is having 2, I could potentially have 2 clerics in the middle row behind him, and then have 2 phalanxes in himself, and even though they don't do a lot of damage, at least they wouldn't die, but the clerics don't heal. So, yeah, I don't know what to do with that. Also, since I can't have a lot of clerics because they're not useful anymore. Whoa, buddy. '74 strength. The fact that this guy has probably more strength than Maverick. Yeah, I put a Balder Sword on him. He's got more strength than Maverick, sorry. 74, 77, 75. Damn. So when I level up fighters, their base strength is actually a lot less. This guy is almost basically ready to be a fencer. Well, not almost. He needs a level or 2, but trust me, this guy should be able to become a fencer or a knight very soon. Yeah. We're going to change this guy into Arthur eventually. But yeah, compare this. So knights used to have a lot of strength, and they still have a decent amount, but they have more vitality than strength now. 65, 80, 15 difference in strength. 55, 55. Also their items raise their vitality, so that's one interesting thing about the game is vitality is... Yeah, so vitality goes up by 1 with the armament. Same thing with the Iron Helm. Kite Shield, 13 vitality. Breastplate, 2 vitality, so resist to strike. Balder armor, no vitality, but look at those resistances. Very good. Plate mail, vitality, vitality. A lot of armors are adding vitality because it helps with defense, but it does that without going flat resistance to strike. Blessed sword, very good. Bastard sword, lots of strength. 10. Anyway, yeah, we got four sets of fighter stuff. Anyway, let me just look at this guy real quick. So front row slash, middle row healing, back magic missile, very fun. 3 in the front, 1 and 1, but 7 and 7 as far as defense. Very weak. He's weaker than a fighter. He's basically as weak as an Amazon. Worse than crappy armor is no armor. So that guy's very weak. But he will get strong. Anyway, we're not going to play the first mission this time. We're going to go and we'll start it. But this video's gone on for almost a half an hour. We've got a lot of stuff to look at. Let's look at ///. Let me just see. I don't want to. I don't want to put the blessed sword on Titus because I actually want him to. Wow, HP 100 to start. Well, he's also level 4, and this guy's level 3. So, yeah. The goal with Titus and Dio is I'm going to want them to get as many soldiers leveled up as possible. And to do that, I need them to not do a lot of damage. So I don't want to upgrade Titus with Balder's, like a blessed sword or anything. Also, the soldiers do a lot of damage this time. They have Balder spears and Balder mail. They're very high defense compared to other people to start. They do really good damage with their Balder spears, especially when they do with other soldiers. And yeah, that's fun. But I am going to tweak things, so things are not going to be as overbearing as they were in the last one. I will probably lower Titus to level 3. Same thing with Dio, because they should have the same level as everyone else. That's just makes sense to me. Yeah, we will get things organized and sorted. But first things first, let's go to the 10A plains. Wait a minute. Let me just check something. Oh, that's from something else. Damn it. I should have bought more fighter equipment, but I didn't. That's okay. We don't have to get all the fighters raised in the beginning of this one. There's a lot of opportunities, so we have lots of time. Next mission will have plenty of opportunity to get more fighters too. So the way I justify Gilbert joining early is this. Not that I'm going to have him join immediately, but basically says beasts are starting to attack this area. So to me, Gilbert's kind of the mastermind behind the stuff going on here. Next mission, when you save or try to save the guy and the Zenobians come to, save you, so to speak, the next mission after that, I think, is when I would have Gilbert join and start helping us, because that's also where we get our second Hellhound, but it's also where that's where thematically it would make sense for him to join, I think, just to kind of watch us and be like, well, this guy might be a good guy. Maybe he'll join the revolution. Maybe he'll be on our side. So that is the plan. But first, we have to not fight Dio. I'm going to save after this introduction and probably take a look at some of our units just to get a little bit of a... Alright, this is the first test for Dio and yourself. We don't want to fight him. Oh, this is something about Dio, so we'll take a look at him soon, but his base weapon is now a stone sword. Which adds a lot of vitality. So my plan for this one is, my brother was actually playing this game for a while recently, and he was having a lot of trouble getting a unit to have a low alignment. So I thought I would do a guide on how to do that too. But first, let's remake everything. So we're going to form Dio for our second unit. And let me just check and see. 71, 73. Wow. So this guy's got 3 more dexterity, 2 more strength. This guy is, well, he's got the same dexterity, but a lot more strength. So 4 more strength, 4 more strength, 55. Yeah, so these are the guys I want eventually to be with Magnus because, or Titus, because they came with him. These ladies came too, but 63 and 56, 71 and 63. Look at the difference in those stats. So the people that come in Magnus's units to start are actually pretty damn strong. So this is 71 to 63. This lady, her agility is higher, but that's about it. Still, to have 5 more strength, 6 more strength than the other one, and this lady to have what is that? 8 more strength. That is just criminal. So the units you start out with are actually pretty special. All of these people will be candidates for becoming upgraded to something and becoming leaders later. But, yeah. So one thing you can do is you just have a leader, like if you want to have this guy. Now sorry for the lip smacking. I would add 4 units. 66, 64. So look at that, 74. So you can definitely tell who came with you. 1, 2, 66, 64, intelligence. Crappy, 67, 70, 70, 70, 70. Boom, boom, boom. So just to get levels, you would put 4 fighters in this unit, and the goal would be for them to get relatively quick level ups so that we can, let's do these guys first. They won't lose a lot of alignment to start, but they'll get more experience this way. Fine. Maverick, there you go. Hudson. We're going to change the names of these guys too, so. Oh, I am missing. Interesting. So this first map and the second map aren't that hard. You should be able to get by with literally just Titus and Dio. If you really want, I would get rid of, well, the reason I have these guys with these units is I like to have people level up at the same time, but Albert, Hudson, Brack. So those will be your knights, I think. Randy could go in a group somewhere. Those are 2 fighters too. Originally I thought about I'm going to change this guy's name to Arthur and have these guys be knights. But Dio, I like the idea of him basically being the first knight unit. He's kind of like your knight template. And then I realized I already had a knight, so I needed this unit to be more than just 4 knights. As you can see, if you have 4 knights, you got potential for attacking in the front, you got magic in the back, you got healing in the middle. You can have a really good unit with just 4 knights or 5 knights. And I like that with Dio, but I had to figure out something to do with. This is gonna be Arthur. I'm gonna change his name eventually. And let's look at this guy. So 222. That's a little bit of a change. That's fun. Where are you? 222 as well. Oh God, these guys are so strong. So strong. Basically, to kill everyone on this map, we're gonna try to use we're gonna use this guy to clean up everyone, because we want to get a unit leveled up a little bit, and then we want to have Hamilton, Bruno. So these guys are gonna be Titus's buddies eventually. So with that in mind, we're gonna have Albert, Randy take their place. I'm basically going to kind of prep Aznabel's unit. We're going to have 2 fighters in the back. Oh, man. I have to move Bruno and Hamilton to the front because they got better strength. Ooh. Bruno and Randy, both water elements. Well, we'll figure that out. So the strategy is start out with Titus and Dio, and then use these guys to farm up fighters, and then use just one other unit to kill everything so they get the most experience. And then you can also start building their alignment to crash. That's the ticket. I'm going to do a little bit of tweaking, but when we are ready, we're going to come back and play the game. So, when we are ready, guys, we will play again later.